All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for taking time to join us today to learn a little bit more about Fountain Valley Athletics. We hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And for those of you in Colorado, hope you're staying warm. All the snow coming down today. My name is David Soto. I'm the Director of Admission for us here at FVS. We are joined today by a panel of amazing and wonderful people, coaches, educators, and athletes here to talk more today about what it means to be a Dane and how we work athletics here at Fountain Valley. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in just a few minutes. But until then, I am going to share my screen with you guys so that we can get going on our presentation. Throughout the conversation, our conversation today, if there are questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and we can answer them as we go. Obviously, you're always welcome to reach out to us in the admission office, and we're happy to answer questions there as well. So we will share our screen here. We will kick up our show, and we can get going. Welcome, everybody. Again, as we said, we're going to talk today about Fountain Valley Athletics, what it means to be a Dane, how we do athletics here at FVS, and what that looks like for us. And before we get going, I do want to introduce our amazing panelists, or rather, have them introduce themselves because they can speak about themselves better than anybody else. So we'll start with the most important people here in the chat, and that's always our student athletes, right? So we'll go seniority first. So Wayne, we'll have you introduce yourself, your name, what grade you're in, what sports you play, and all that stuff here at Fountain Valley.
Hi, my name is Wayne. I'm a senior at Fountain Valley. I did soccer in the fall. I'm doing the winter musical currently, and yeah.
Awesome. Ainsley?
Hi, I'm Ainsley. I'm a sophomore here at Fountain Valley, and I did volleyball in the fall. I'm currently doing swimming for winter, and I'm doing soccer for the spring season.
I saw a nice head nod there from Coach Grubb. So, Coach, we'll go to you next. Yeah,
Perfect. Thanks. Good news there, Ainsley. My name is Jennifer Grubb. I coach boys and girls soccer at Fountain Valley and happy to be a part of this.
awesome. Last but most certainly not least, Mr. Loister.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yep, Matt Leister, athletic director here at Fountain Valley.
Awesome. Well, first, thank you all for joining us today. And this is, a topic that's always fun for me to talk about, at least as a sports fan and as a coach too. So I appreciate you guys hopping on, and hopefully we have a good time today just talking about something we all love, something we all care about. Um, Before we really jump into this, we want to introduce you all to our athletics team. You heard from Matt a little bit ago, and you're going to hear a lot more from him later on. But this is the team that kind of makes up at least the athletics portion of our campus. We have Grant down there, who is our equipment operations manager and does a lot of the glue work behind the scenes, the work that nobody notices, but without it, things don't function. So thank you to him. We have Morgan up there, who does all of our strength and conditioning work for our student athletes when they want to go in, get bigger, faster, stronger. And you'll see a quick video on our athletic center and our weight room, and the amazing facilities we get to use there. And then Lindsay, of course, most importantly, the athletic trainer who keeps our students healthy. Matt and I, we can talk a little bit about what that looks like for us here, athletic training, what happens when and if students do get injured, to get them back on the field as quickly and as safely as possible. So there's our athletic team. Again, our here at Fountain Valley, a number of coaches are teachers as well, or involved in the community in a lot of different ways. So this is just kind of the head of the program, but it does trickle down to the rest of the community because, again, we are all coaching or involved in some ways. So yeah, that's a little bit there. Before we really kick off, we do want to show you guys a little bit of a video about Fountain Valley, just a little bit more of a commercial, so to speak. You will see glimpses of athletic facilities, and we do have a deeper look at those in just a few minutes. But here's a quick look at more about Fountain Valley, and you'll see some more athletic facilities in here as well.
We embrace the great American West. We are stewards of the environment.
We aim to see things from a global perspective.
We are confident leaders and trailblazers.
We follow our passion for education and discovery.
We said yes to a world-class education. And you can too.
All right, so a quick look there at, again, more highlights of FVS, including some more athletic things. Here's a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about here a personal statement from Coach Matt and a little bit more about his philosophy as an athletic director and what that embodies for us here at FVS and how that trickles down to the rest of the programs. Again, you'll get another look at our facilities through a facilities video, and then more about coaching, and particularly from Coach Grubb and Coach Matt about what their philosophy is as coaches, how we embody those things as a program here. And we'll hear from our student athletes too about their experience, working with coaches here at Fountain Valley, because it's a unique place where, your teacher can also be your soccer coach, who can also be your dorm parent, who can also be your advisor, right? So there's a lot of different layers to this thing, and we're really excited about that. We think that makes for a better student athlete for sure. We'll talk about the Dane Dozen, something that Coach Matt brought over to us this year as the athletic director, and what it means to be a Dane here. But yeah, so without further ado, Coach Matt, we'd love to hear more about your philosophy as an athletic director, what you want to bring to this program, and what you want Fountain Valley student athletes to embody.
Sure. Hey, thanks, Dave. So, first and foremost, the most important thing that I do as an athletic director is create an environment that is both psychologically and physically safe for our student athletes. So once we have that, then we can start getting into, developing leaders, which is, one of the three things that I want to ensure that we embody with our student athletes. So developing leaders, we want them to take ownership of their roles. We want them to support one another. And then as well as building a culture of excellence. And how do you define excellence? And really the way I define that is accountability, discipline, and most importantly, a relentless pursuit of improvement. And I kind of that leads into the next point is ultimately at the end of the day, what we're trying to achieve is to have our students and our students athletes maximize their potential, and prepare them for life well beyond the field or the court. Yeah, and if we can do those things again under the umbrella of that safe psychological and physical environment, and then we can achieve these things. That is what is most important to me as the athletic director, and what these student athletes walk away with.
Yeah. Wayne and Ainsley, super quickly, just a very quick look at what your experience has been like being an athlete here at Fountain Valley. And Ainsley, we'll start with you first.
Okay, thank you. Being an athlete, I mean, last year I was a three-sport athlete, and hopefully this year I'm going to be a three-sport athlete. Um, I mean, my like days as an athlete is pretty consistent. I have practice. I literally go to the dining hall and then I have homework. I mean, typically practice for me for swimming is about an hour and a half, but volleyball is 2 hours. I mean, I love sports genuinely. It's the best thing in my life, and Fountain Valley has so many opportunities for those sports, and that's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you. Wayne, a little bit for you, and we'll talk more about this a little bit later, but you mentioned soccer in the fall and then the musical in the winter. What is it like to balance those two, and how do you sort of best achieve results in both?
I think they're two very different things. And the one thing that I appreciate about them both is that you're getting to work with people who you have deep connections with. So your coaches, your teammates are people that you interact with in so many different ways on campus. And that obviously makes it so you want to be there. It's not like when it comes to afternoon activities, you don't feel like it's a drag. You feel like it's something you're looking forward to. It's the highlight of your day. Um, and the switching between, because like my first musical was here at Fountain Valley, switching between soccer to something like theater was not easy, but just because of the community and the encouragement of everyone around you, it feels like something you enjoy, and that makes it so much easier.
Yeah, it's a special place to be able to do a little bit of both, right? I mean, I think one of the things, Matt, I think that we both agree on, I think is really special. And Coach Grubb, I want to hear from you on this too, is student athletes don't have to pick, right? This is the kind of place where you're going to do a lot of different things and try a lot of different things. And, we support kids playing soccer and playing the musical and trying as much as they can. We think that's a really big part of education here at Fountain Valley for sure. Um, Coach Matt, how do we balance that? How do we work with that at Fountain Valley of students who want to take on lot of different things and are coming into maybe a sport or an activity that they're brand new at?
Yeah, so first thing is we support it, right? So as an administration, as coaches, we support our student athletes participating in multiple sports. I come from a background from high school of playing four different sports, right? I specialized in college, but I think it's so important that you have the opportunity to, like Wayne, do soccer, and then come and do a musical theater. Both extremely different, but both, the same idea of preparation and what goes into achieving success in that. Yeah, I think, just being supportive from a athletic standpoint. And then, we have programs within our athletic department that allow those to try new sports. So we have beginner climbing in the spring, we have beginner mountain biking in the spring. So if that's something you're interested in doing, it's easy to give it a try without being super competitive and feeling like you may not be good enough to do that specific sport. And we encourage, those to step out of their comfort zone and try those things.
Thanks, Coach Grubb. You've been around the game of soccer for a long time. Talk to us a little bit about coaching multi-sport athletes. Is that something you like to work with? What does that mean for you?
Um, yeah, it has been a long time. One of the things that I love most about what both of our student athletes shared is the opportunity to try new things and to commit to kind of what Matt said before, and that's maximizing their potential. And then one of the things I appreciate most about working with both of them is being able to push them in the sport in which I coach them, but watching them blossom and just be able to celebrate them in other spaces. And so I'll go to the musical, or I went to volleyball in the fall. I'll go to a swim meet, and just have a chance to truly just celebrate all of the things that our student athletes are doing.
Yeah. Thank you. Very well said, and I appreciate that. And I think, again, very big to our philosophy here of we want you to try a lot of different stuff, right? The idea of pushing yourself and getting out of your comfort zone is going to permeate throughout campus, whether it's academically, athletically, or anywhere else in between. So I do want to highlight a little bit of our amazing facility. And no, we're not going to talk about pizza. That's just the screenshot that's on the video. But I do want to show you guys a little bit of video that highlights a little of our athletic facility, and we can talk a little bit more about all the amazing stuff that we have after, but we can watch this for a minute or two, and then we can discuss more of our facilities afterwards. All right, awesome. I do want to highlight one thing about that video, and Coach Krebs looking at me because we didn't show the soccer fields on that one, but we saw them in the first video. But don't worry, you can see them in the background there, our beautiful soccer fields. And I think one thing I think that is really special about the video you just watched is that we do include the prairie as an athletic facility. Right, our mountain biking team is out there in the fall, and then again in the spring when the weather's right to get out and go ride. We do want to use as much as we can of our community. Matt, is there anything you want to mention about our facility and facility spaces and things that we use here at Fountain Valley?
Yeah, what I'll add is, our facilities are top notch, and when you look at our facilities, you would think we are just strictly an athletic school. but really athletics is an extension of a much greater development of our students in the academic arena as well as in the athletic arena. So yeah, I can't say enough about our facilities and the ability to use that to help develop our student athletes.
Awesome. Amazing. Okay, we'll keep it moving and we'll talk a little bit. I want to hear from coaches. I want to hear from you guys specifically about this, and obviously student athletes. We'll get to you guys in a second, but coaching philosophy. What does coaching mean for us here at Fountain Valley, and how do you guys implement the things that you see highlighted: discipline, planning, leading by example, responsibility, wellness, and recognition? I'd also like for you guys a little bit too. We should have done this at the top, and my fault for not mentioning it earlier. But your coaching backgrounds. How did you get here? What is your experience coaching? And Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah. So just like I said earlier, four sports student athlete. I went to West Point, played lacrosse there, and after I graduated from West Point, I stayed on as a athletic liaison officer, working with cadet athletes. Throughout multiple times in my 20-year Army career, I had the ability to go back to West Point and work in the athletic department and coach and mentor cadet athletes as they prepared for their career in the Army. And then throughout every single assignment within my career, I've always volunteered, coached. I've coached everything from kindergarten basketball to high school lacrosse. So that's a little bit about my background in terms of coaching. So
Yeah, Coach Grubb.
Similar to Matt, always been involved in athletics, either as a player or as a coach. Played and coached at all levels. Went to Notre Dame, played soccer there, played professionally post college, and also played with the national team, and have coached at all of those levels as well. And then including pretty significant roles with Special Olympics here in Colorado. Our semi-pro team here in the Springs has a Special Olympics unified team that I volunteer coach for, and it's really about giving back to the game that has given me so much and developing players of all abilities and at all levels. And so it always draws us back in. I think Matt would say the same, right? We tend to think we're going to move away from maybe an athletic realm, and it always pulls us back in. And I think Ainsley and Wayne will find that too as they continue their athletic careers as well.
Coach Grubb, we'll go back to you a little bit, but give us a little bit of your coaching philosophy. What do you want your players to get out of the experience of being on the field with you? What do you look for in a player? What do you like to do about coaching? Give us your coaching philosophy a little bit.
I kind of want to flip this to the two student athletes who are here, see
Yeah,
what they have to say about this.
yeah,
No, I think, it's really trying to strike the balance between enjoying it and really pushing them. I am hard on them. I do want them to maximize their potential. I do want them to move beyond the things that are easy or that they already know how to do. But it's got to be that balance, right? If it's too hard or too competitive or too challenging, I find that then it just becomes frustrating. And as a, much older player at this point, I just love to play for the love of the game. And at the end of the day, that's what I want them to take away from it and say, when I am 24, post college, wherever I am, I can come back to these things that I loved as an adolescent or as a developing player and continue their athletic experience, no matter where they are. So that's my first and foremost is love of the game.
yeah. Coach Matt, what about you?
yeah, ultimately, I want our student athletes to be better people through this experience. Whether they're the last person on the bench to get in the game, or they're the starting, they're the best player. If every student athlete walks away a better person, then I have done my job as a coach to these student athletes.
Well, let's hear from the student athletes themselves. Ainsley, we'll start with you. What has been your experience? I mean, we talked a little about your experience playing here, but working with your coaches, what does that look like for you here at Fountain Valley?
Thank you. Um, I love all of my coaches. I mean, I've met the mountain biking coach, I've met all the coaches. I tried rock climbing for like interim or something like that. It was amazing. I wanted to do it, but then I was like, nah, I like volleyball better because I've been doing it almost all my life. Um, coaches, they're not the type of coach to like slam their clipboard down if we miss a point or something like that. It's just no. They help you. They like if you mess something up, then they're like, hey, this is what you do. They don't get mad at you. They don't yell at you. I mean, Coach Grubb has yelled at me, but it's for different reasons. um, but I mean, it's also amazing. They're a great community. All the coaches are loving and they just care about you and they help you out of school. If you have any like questions about the sport, they're available out of school too, to like email or chat with or anything like that. Very helpful.
Awesome. Wayne, what about you?
I think beyond just being great coaches, all the coaches I've worked with at Fountain Valley are great people. And kind of connecting back to what Ainsley said, there's a factor of trust. I think the biggest thing is trust between the coach and the player, that the coaches have your best interests at heart, and that makes it so much easier to just do everything else because you know when they're pushing you for your own good. It's because they know you can be better, and they're also always there to catch you when you make a mistake, when you fail, and that makes it so much easier to grow as a person and as a player. So, yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. And I love Wayne that point about trust, right? I think like Coach Grubb talked about earlier, we do that because we get to celebrate our students a lot in a lot of different venues, right? Whether it's Wayne again in the musical or in a different sport or at all school or whatever it is, we see each other a lot. And I think, and hopefully you guys agree, but that trust builds when we have that communication with each other and we're constantly seeing each other and we're constantly around each other a lot. So I think it's a great point. I think it's highlighted by the fact that we're always around each other, right? And so it makes it easier to go root and go celebrate each other. Um, the Dane dozen, Coach Matt, this is something you brought with you over to Fountain Valley here in your as an athletic director in your first full year. What does this look like? What does this mean? Tell us more about this.
Yeah, so I don't want to take full credit for this. One of my mentors, Coach Albarisi, who's the coach at West Point Army Lacrosse. This is something that, and I took a little bit of what he had. Um, yeah, this is something that really resonates with me. Is you don't need to be the most talented person on the field. You don't need to be the best person in the classroom. You just need to do the little things right and the things that ultimately don't require talent, right? So, one of the examples of like, I can, looking at Wayne Oso and just seeing him being coachable, right? And, and Jen, coaching him and him being receptive to that feedback, that doesn't take any talent. And if we can do these 12 things, if we could do them well, it'll just bleed over into being competitive, not only on the field, but in life. And that's really what I want our students to take away.
Yeah. Coach Grubb, as you look at these and you see these, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts on all these things and how do you think you implement these into your program?
I wish we had time to cover each one,
Yeah.
right?
We could do a
Hit
whole
each of
separate
these
series on
bullet
all
points.
12.
But I think from a Fountain Valley standpoint, like Ainsley and Wayne already said, there's a huge investment in relationships. We spend a lot of time together. Some of our travel trips are day long. And it's not just about can I coach you to win games? It is about that trust. It is about knowing who these students are in their whole lives, not just you play for me and I see you for 2 hours in the afternoon. Um, and then I think another big one for us is the persistence, right? They've got a lot on their plates and they find ways to truly make a commitment to everything that they're doing. And maybe it's a college needing to go to a college meeting. Maybe it's I'm also a competitive dancer and I need to have some time to focus on that. But it's the persistence for me and their ability to balance and find ways to be at everything that they want to experience.
Thank you both. And I think it's telling and it's interesting to note that nowhere on here does it talk about, championships or wins and losses or going undefeated. And yet, a lot of those things do happen, right? Boys tennis had an undefeated regular season and a good run in the playoffs. Boys soccer had a great run in the postseason. Basketball in the postseason last year. So, like, success is happening, and it's happening while credit to you guys as coaches and you guys as student athletes are using this as a teaching tool, right? Beyond just championship or bust mentality. So success does happen, and so can, becoming a great person while you do it. Um, Awesome. Student athletes, I want to hear from you guys really quick. Thoughts as you guys flip through this and read this, and Wayne will go to you first. But how do you think you've embodied these as a student athlete here at FVS?
Um, I think I'm gonna look at number one and be like, work ethic is the one I'm gonna go for.
Yeah.
Just because, like Coach Grubb said, and I've had the privilege of being coached by Coach Grubb, so she knows there's a lot in our plates. There's always something to do. It's never a dull day down in the valley. So you always got to know how to push through, how to get to where you need to be when you need to be there and get everything done while still making time to do the things you love. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Ainsley, what about you?
Um, I think I want to add on to Coach Grubb's the persistence. I mean, it's you have so much to do, especially as a student athlete. Like Wayne said, like we have homework every night, almost like I don't know for Wayne, but for me, it's 3 hours every night. And as a sophomore, that's insane. I mean, at public school, they probably have like 30 minutes, but whatever. Um, I don't know. I think coaches are very flexible. Like if you have a lot of homework, like they'll let you go out early, but at the same time, they want to push you to your limits. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Thank you guys. Um, Coach Matt, we'll go to you, and we're just about done. I want to get everybody out of here in plain time so you guys have time to eat and hang out and enjoy the rest of your evening. Um, Talk to us about what this means. This is something again you brought over, and I felt this was cool and wanted to keep this in here. So what's this mean for us?
Yeah, Dave, before I get into becoming a Dane, I just want to, echo a point, with Jen and Ainsley and Wayne were talking about in terms of persistence. Um, you know, we need to have an appetite for failure. And I think that's really what we do well here. And we want kids to try new things. So we need to let them fail or not be successful in order for them to grow. And sometimes that's hard for us to let happen. But I think we do a good job of, as Ainsley said, like balancing that, pushing our kids to maximize their potential, which it gets back to, making them better people and prepared for life beyond high school and beyond the field. So,
Totally. Great point.
um, yeah, so becoming a Dane, this is something that it's just very simple, right? So it's an acronym, Dane, dedicate yourself to the team. So, you know, making sure that you're putting your team before yourself, right? And then, whatever that role is on the team, if you're again, if you're on the bench and you're coming in late in the game, or you're a starter, right? You're accepting whatever that role is on the team. If you're the manager, you're accepting that role on the team and being recognized by the athletes, by the coaches of how important that role is for the team to be successful. And then, in athletics, sometimes we get a big head and, sometimes we do put ourselves before the team and recognizing when we have done that and learning from that. And then ultimately, embracing the mission, right? And that's embracing, the personal statement I had, the Dane dozen, the coaching philosophy. Everyone's got their little take on what that means, and we need to embrace that and support one another in doing that. Yeah, that's what I think it means to be a Dane, and something that in my 3 months here as the athletic director, that we are reiterating and hoping to achieve and have everyone embrace that.
Coach Crow, what about you? What does it mean to be a Dane for you?
I think this really is well said, and I think I know I keep saying I want to hear from our student athletes.
Yeah.
But I have found that on both the boys and girls soccer teams, these things really do come to life. We see it happen. Um, it is from best player to maybe someone who's still kind of in the developmental category, and they're equally dedicated. Same time, showing up at practices, games, um, and I think although we don't talk specifically about team mission statements, I would say they really do embrace the mission of what we're trying to accomplish. And that is the holistic development. And I think our student athletes know that. And let's not confuse this. We're all competitive and we all want to win. And at the same time, that I think they do have an understanding that the mission is bigger than just the record at the end of a season.
I love that. Beautifully said. Yeah, student athletes, hear from you guys too. What does it mean to be a Dane for you guys? Wayne, we'll go to you first.
I think connecting it back to the acronym, you'll notice that the first three letters all end like the sentences end with team. And
Mm.
that's a really big part of my experience as a student athlete. Whether it's a soccer game or it's doing the musical, we do our best work, we play our best games, we put on the best shows when we come together and just all give it everything we've got. It's actually impressive to watch. So I think it's all about collaboration and working together and also making those true connections with our peers and also our coaches.
Yeah. Ainsley, what about you?
Um, I my mom has said this a lot to me based on like my attitude that has gone up in volleyball because I used to. Anyways, she used to say, let's just say my attitude was not the best in like eighth grade, okay? But she was saying that like not no team is like one player. Like every sport is a team sport except like golf, but whatever. But I mean, everybody's dedicated to the sport. Even if you're on the bench, everybody's cheering. It's amazing, and I mean, I love Fountain Valley because of the sports. I mean, even outside of sports, you see your friends out there and be like, "Hey, are you excited for the game today?" Yeah, of course I am. Like it's just amazing how often we see our like teammates outside of school or sports. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, a few more minutes, and
Hey,
like I said, I
Dave,
do want
can
to
I add
get.
one more thing
Yeah,
for you?
absolutely, coach.
Yeah, so Ainsley brings up a really good point. I think sometimes when you think about team, you think about just your specific team, but really, what I've seen here, which is really incredible, is the boys soccer team coming off the field after practice wanders over and roots on the boys tennis team, or walks into the gym and roots on the girls volleyball team. Girls volleyball traveling to boys soccer to watch them play in their playoff game against Crested Butte. So yeah, it's just so encouraging to see that support, not only within the team, but within the greater team of Dane Nation,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's thank you for bringing that up, and I think it's totally right. And Ainsley, you bring up a good point that we that support I think comes pretty easy for us because again, as student athletes, you guys are around each other all the time, right? Your teammates are always going to be in the same your classes. It might be in your dorm, it might be in your advisory. They might be in the same clubs as you. You're going to see your teammates a lot, and so and you're going to see like Coach Matt mentioned too. You're going to see folks have friends in every other sport as well because again, we're not a very big school, and we're proud of that. So. Before I get to my last sort of question, I do want to plug this right here again. For those folks watching, we do have some important deadlines coming up admission wise. That sort of early action first round admission decision coming up on December 15th. Um, so keep that in mind as well. And again, obviously, if there's questions, please feel free to always reach out to the admissions office. We're always happy to support. We are going to be having an athletics open house this upcoming Saturday. So feel free to register for that. The information for that is all on our website as well. You can find it on our social media pages also. So if you want to come learn about more about our climbing program, which we didn't even really dip into too much today, but again, if there's individual questions, we're happy to talk more about that. Also going to be showing off our basketball and our volleyball programs a little bit. So feel free to look up that information online if you get the chance. But my last question for you guys as I stop our share and get over here, um, give us one piece of advice for these student athletes, for these students who are thinking about applying to Fountain Valley or have applied to Fountain Valley and are wondering what the next steps are going to be. Where should they go to high school? What should they look for? What piece of advice do you have for these folks who might be watching this and wondering, do I want to come to a boarding school? What does this look like for us? And Wayne, we'll start with you.
Okay, I gotta think about this. From my in my when I joined Fountain Valley, it was my first time joining a boarding school. It was my first time joining a school where you had to do sports for 2 hours every afternoon after classes, and I wasn't sure. I honestly wasn't sure how it would go. But my advice would be to buy in, to give it a shot, just give it a try. And I found that I loved it. I would never go back to my old school if I had a chance to be here at Fountain Valley. So give it a shot, and you never know. You might find something you like, and you most likely will end up enjoying what Fountain Valley has to offer.
Awesome. Ainsley, piece of advice for these kids aside from play volleyball and swim and play soccer?
Um, I mean, I feel like I'm from Florida and my mom went here. Well, not went here, but she coached here. She was athletic director. My dad was a men's volleyball coach. I did take in mind that they went here. I was like, oh, like maybe I should go here just because they went. And I mean, it kind of had a part in it. I was like, oh, that's cool. But I really did deep like take a dive into like what my daily schedule would be like as a three sport athlete that I wanted to be. It is a lot, but I think it's so fun, and you don't really find these opportunities outside of Fountain Valley School, like at public school. I mean, you just go to your sport, like you don't really interact with your coach outside of school. Um, I just say keep an open mind. That's really it.
Awesome. Coach Grubb?
I would say kind of bringing in components of what Wayne and Ainsley have already said is to forge your own path. If you want to do it, try it. It is one of the most supportive environments, again, from a developmental space or being in spaces where we can really push you to maximize potential, some of those things that we are already talking about. And just because you've done something your whole life doesn't mean you'll keep doing it. You might fall in love with rock climbing and be like, oh, now what? Do I want to play volleyball or do I want to rock
Mhm.
climb? And just forging your own path, being willing to take some of those risks and see what happens while you are in a space that is supportive and um, can help you kind of figure out what you want to do.
Coach Matt, bring us home.
Yeah, I think the most important thing advice I can give is just be authentic to yourself, right? As you make your decision on where you're going to go, and this will be one of many decisions. It can be hard to be authentic. This day and age with the internet and TikTok, and it can be really tough, and especially for a high school student to be able to be yourself can be really hard. So being authentic to yourself, and like Ainsley brought up, her parents went here, they played sports, right? And she came here and she made the decision on her own to pursue that and being authentic to herself. There are kids out there that, find themselves in a place where, they don't necessarily feel like they're their authentic self. And I think one of the things I love about Fountain Valley is that you are able to do that and be authentic, and you're supported not only by the faculty, but by your fellow students, which is really encouraging. So,
Yeah. Well, panelists, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys taking the time. You guys got me fired up, man. I might go get an extra workout in or something. You guys got me pumped up, ready to go play. Um, Again, if there are questions, we're always happy to answer them. So please feel free to reach out to us in the admissions office or anybody on campus. We're always happy to support. Remember those deadlines? They were posted earlier, and you'll see them more later on. But if there are questions, as always, we're always happy to help. In the meantime, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful rest of your time. Thank you so much for watching, and go Danes. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.